one. And welcome back again with this very new game to Blindfold that I didn't know before with Anti-Aaron. Welcome, Anti-Aaron.
Hey,
And,
how's it going?
and it will be commentated by Tempest Mask. Hello.
Hello, friends and fellow gamers. I am. Wait a second. What the heck am I wearing today? Is it an actual mask? Oh my god. He's doing it. He's actually doing it. But yeah, my name is Tempest Mask 1000. Some of you know me as Steve, and I myself am a hardcore Uprising runner for Bahamut. But obviously, we're not going to be doing that for today's case. So yeah. Well, happy to be doing what I can for Aaron's run today. This will be fun.
Because you are the voice of Hardcore Uprising. And I am Anti-Aaron, and this is Hardcore Uprising Blindfolded Sayuri. So basically, we have a Contra game that is Ninja Gaiden. So we keep our katanas in hand, and we put our blindfolds on, and we get ready for it. Are you ready?
All right. Good luck, Aaron.
Yep.
Let's do this.
Yep, get the mic.
All right, and as he is setting up, allow me to quickly explain what there is to expect. So, unlike most Contra games, this is going to feature a mode that not only allows you to build up your character's own skills and stats in a way, but also the character that he'll be playing as, Sayuri, is someone that effectively turns this Contra game into a Ninja Gaiden game. Now, it's because of that in which she is the most accessible and fastest character among all the playable characters. And so Aaron had the idea of starting the blindfolded category as a way to challenge himself even further. And it looks like he'll be starting the countdown right now. So 3, 2, 1, go. All right, and we are off. So, as we start things off, I do want to point out that before the loading screen hit press to continue, Aaron actually entered the Konami code, and what music we're hearing right now is actually a remix of the original Contra's first stage music. So, for your viewing entertainment, we've got ourselves a little something special for y'all, because otherwise, there is a just as awesome level 1 theme that would normally play at this point. But we decided to go a little classic style Contra, and it's all well and good. And speaking of all well and good, Theory here is a beast when it comes to not just the close range, but also the long range. You'll notice that not only can she swing her blade rapidly, given the set of power-ups, but also, for that matter, she has a charge shot. And that's what will still make the range game extra viable. But going into level 1, as it is, we've entered the quicksand area, and at this point, Aaron was making sure that her sprite did not sink too far in, because had that happened, that would have a bit you have act of the level, that being try to splash. Yes. Oh no.
Oh no, okay, Sumi is back. I was worried. It's okay, it's okay. All is okay.
Okay. Sorry about that, folks. So at this point, we are at the first major boss of stage 1. And with that, we've entered the Lotus Worm fight. So, Lotus Worm here has the major weak point of the main body, as you can see right there, and it's already down and done. If this were a gunner run, something that we might do is utilize the triple jump and our double air dash to jump to the other side of the arena, then force the worm to dig to the other side, and then we would use our best shots on it to then just take it out and get to the second bike as soon as possible. Now let's talk a little bit about Theory's special mechanic, because there is a big part to her that changes, because normally in a Contra game, your gunner characters would have the ability to choose other weapon types. And that would be the case here, but Sayuri's is a bit more of a damage buff. So if Aaron were to lose a life, the damage buff will be temporarily voided until it is built back up. But all that aside, he actually completed the stage without even losing a single life, which is impressive. That is definitely a good start right there. Now, the game is timed normally via IGT, so whenever you see that results screen, that usually means that we are going off of that between both the individual level segments. Sorry, English is a little hard for me sometimes. And also the total gameplay time involved as well. Now, you also saw Aaron utilize the action button. Real quick though, shout out to that defense wall right there, which is a callback to the Contra 1 defense walls. And yeah, now that we're officially through that, no more seeing that going on, but yeah. Aside from that, we are looking pretty good here, and so the action button is another one of those upgrades that you can gain more of through the use of your core points in Rising mode. Now, we'll talk about Rising mode. So, like I mentioned earlier, you use what's called core points to build up your upgrades, and how you get core points is by taking out enemies, and it gets even higher your rate of collection as your combo goes up. So, there is actually a merit to keeping your combo going. It's not just for score purposes, but it does convert into in-game points. And it also helps you build up your life meter as well as how many lives you have. Because one nice element of Hardcore Uprising is that, similar to the Japanese version of Contra Hardcore, the Sega Genesis game, it has a health bar so that characters will lose a life after 3 hits instead of 1, like in the US version. So, with that in mind, that this is a very beginner-friendly category for any kind of speedrunner, really, and that Aaron has been a huge advocate for setting anyone up with the necessary knowledge or tips and tricks to get a run going if they wish to jump right into the scene. Because let me tell you, this game is actually still available to purchase. The fun thing about it, or funny thing rather, because I don't know if it's fun, I'll let you be the judge of that. The funny thing about this game is that it's a 7th generation console title. And if you'd believe me on that one, that means it's still available for purchase on the PS3 and Xbox family. So how about that? So this is Leviathan piloting the Knight Persica, and this boss fight typically works by way of RNG as to where he warps in the field. He can choose to warp either on the upper layer or bottom layer from the left, right, or middle. And so it's typically a guessing game as to where he is, because unfortunately it's not like we have stereo audio going for him either. Now, one nice thing, or, well, I guess you could say supposedly nice thing about knowing where you are on the stage is the crocodile enemies, because you're noticing that whenever they snap you, that's an instant kill. So, them dragging you down into the depths of the murky waters and all that stuff. And Aaron, you might see him sometimes use that as something of a stage check or a reset for his position, so that he knows potentially where he is. Another cool to the battlefield is that those fruits all over the stage can recover a point of your life. Now that he knows that he collected one, it also gave him a little hint as to where he might have gone. Although I'm pretty sure he also had an idea as well. Yeah, Leviathan's obviously being Leviathan, trying to daunt around the whole field. Ooh, he's very close. Oop, 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 oop. There we go. Nicely done. There you have it. That's the fight. That'll be the end of stage 2, the jungle.
Mission clear.
So that's mission complete. And now we're going to be moving on to level 3, the ruins.
Stupendous.
Getting a quick puff in there as we set things up. And you're noticing the text screens before the stage starts. For each character, it's a little different. So usually it tells the true story behind their perspectives, and the overall plot of the game as well. So I'll do a quick rundown for you as we go through section 1 of the ruins, that being that this game takes place as a spiritual prequel to the original Contra game, and of course, by proxy, Contra Hardcore from Genesis. And the year is 2613. The major ruling force with an iron fist called the Commonwealth has tried to divide to become the supreme ruling governmental body of the world, and thus has become very oppressive, especially with the ranks of the Death Squad. Its Emperor Tiberius must be stopped, and so different forces of rebellions have gathered together between the Union, Federation, and Republic tribes, each vying a candidate to undergo a desperate plan in order to put an end to the Commonwealth once and for all. Sayuri is the devout individual for the Republic tribe. She's not their representative, but she is the story says that she is their devout candidate. Which is very interesting, because it also turns out that she's the adopted daughter of Tiberius. And so, this is not just personal, but it also just happens to line up with rebellion forces as well. She does want her vengeance for Tiberius abandoning her and her mother, supposedly. So, with that in precise, that goals just so happen to align. However, the story also revolves around Harley, the Federation, the Federation's soldier, as well as Crystal and Bahamut of the Union tribe. And Bahamut is a former Death Squad member, so Leviathan has a special quote that says, "Long time no see," because the two of them have had history, and so Leviathan is having a grudge against Bahamut for abandoning the Death Squad and the Commonwealth. Here we are, but a little bit more on that story later, because this is Sayuri that we're playing as, and right now we're actually going through what I like to call the reverse Contra 1 waterfall situation, where instead of going up, we simply go down. So that mech that Aaron fought earlier, the Tigress, is now going to reappear and turn into its submersive form, the Draconis. And we're going to see him take out the front gun, which will then cause the mech to ram into the raft. But then Aaron will get on the main body and then take care of the weak point with his head, and then that will be the fight. Now, he wants to be a little bit careful because he is on 1 HP, and what happens is if you die and then automatically get sent back to the raft, or if you just jump upon the raft, then the fight will go into an extra phase that requires you to have to sit through a bunch of missiles and then some. But luckily, Aaron did manage to first try that very cleanly, and now we are out of there. Nicely done, man. All right, folks, so fortunately and unfortunately, we are now within our first of the auto-scroller levels. This is the Capital Highway. And so we're going to be enjoying some nice rock and roll music going on, but also this is going to be a stage that mostly involves beating enemies as fast as possible to then progress the stage as best as you can. So it will seem like there's really not too much going on here, but at least to regale you all, let's talk a bit more about the story, because I think this would be a great time to do so. So the character Bahamut is actually a namesake that alludes to another one of the characters that originally appeared in Contra Hardcore for Genesis, that being the Colonel or General Bahamut, which was one of the main bad guys of the game. Now, whether or not this implies that this Bahamut will become that Bahamut, you never really know. In fact, despite this technically being the supposed canon or canonical prequel of Contra 1, it can be implied that maybe some things do end up being different later on, for all we know anyway. We will be seeing another character, though, that does happen to be a huge force within Contra Hardcore itself a little later down the line once we get to stage 5. But Muhammad, being a former Death Squad soldier, he's a bit, distrusted at first by most. And as a matter of fact, the Republic tribe is very concerned about how much of a threat he could pose, that they gave Siri an extra goal as well. Not just work along with the plan, but also to assassinate him. Now, fortunately, she never really goes with it, as far as we know. This game, however, was, well, first and foremost, you're noticing that the graphical style is reminiscent of, say, Blaze Blue and Guilty Gear before it went full 3D, and that is because Arc System Works did indeed develop this one for Konami. So, Konami Digital Works, or Digital Entertainment, still published the game and gave them the full-on to develop the full OK Go and stuff. And it is a very beautiful game for it, I do say. But aside from that, it seemed as though there were plans to have in-universe sequels, which unfortunately never came about. But it would have been interesting to see where it could have gone if it were possible. To that similar end, it is a shame that we never really had a PC port of this title. But the good news is that, well, for one, who knows? There could always be a modern port of this game one of these days, for all we know. But two, we do allow the use of an emulator for those interested in running this, but aren't sure that they might have the efficient hardware to do so. And by that I mean console hardware. The good news is that this game is backwards compatible with an Xbox One and a Series XS. So there are modern options in this day and age, this console market, to still run this game, and believe me, it's really cool for it. But the big figure here is that IGT within the game. The fact that it's so reliable that really it doesn't matter if you're using backwards compatible or emulator, we just simply are cool with it. And so if you want to use the PS3 emulator, we can definitely get you set up. Man, now that we've talked a little bit about that, let's go into this particular mini boss, because the last one was made short work of, and this one will be too if Karen gets this just right. Like that, nicely done. And the funny thing about this guy or this machine is that Siri is the only character that can really one cycle it. Right as a gunner character, and you will likely fail. The reason for this being that her damage buff, her overclock damage, is what allows her to do it. So, at the end of the day, gunner characters can only wish they'd keep up. But it does make for an interesting case that if you were to play this game co-op, we do have a few variations. For instance, gunner characters only, blade characters only, and in the extra fun case, gunner and blade. And believe me, there are some nice benefits between running a blade character and a gun character, that there is a merit to having one of each on the field to be able to do the time saves that neither can accomplish individually. So now we've entered the Lux Corona fight, and we've made a full-on genre swap from Contra to Gradius. And it's at this point we go into a few different phases for this mecha that is waiting to reveal itself. First and foremost will come the ring phases. The outer rings must be opened up by destroying the green crystalline substance that also reveals a laser ring cannon, but luckily Aaron is also able to shred it up nice and cleanly with Theory's rate of blade slashing, just like that. And bonus, he was also able to destroy one of the inner ring crystals as well by that nice little setup right there. So nicely done, dude. And yeah, he's gonna remain within that spot despite the what's thrown at trying to summon that gigantic plasma shot that does follow the inner circle, albeit very slowly. So it does give you plenty of time to react. Alright, so now that we've taken out the outer ring, the Lux Corona itself appears and it will go through at least a few, maybe 5 phases of different attack patterns, each being signified by that explosion right there once you reach a certain part of the health bar. And now it's already gone from phase 2 to phase 3 and phase 4. You're seeing it go by very, very quickly. It's not even going to be able to get the snow stopper. And phase 3, by the way, is a giant laser, so yeah. It stands to note that, I think I woke up a little stuffy this morning. I do apologize to the folks that are definitely noticing that because I am using a pretty professional mic for today's commentary. But let me try that again. You're not quite noticing the intricacies of the boss attacks and their behavior, but yeah, it is a very competent set of bosses and a very fun time as well if you ever get to experience it yourself. Shoot, they found me. Yeah, that's basically what this level's going to sound like for the first portion of it all. Because, wouldn't you know it, Konami likes to make small homages to their other properties, and this is basically a Metal Gear homage in that not only is there stealth involved, but guess what? You can also hide within those cardboard boxes as well. Try it for yourself. It's pretty fun. So yeah, we're going to let Aaron take care of this little section right here. What does happen is that whenever those alarm panels are turning green to red, you want to destroy those because otherwise the gate will be in the way of you progressing. You could destroy those though if you have the right arsenal. If you're a gunner character, if you have the right kind of shot, then yeah, that should be pretty simple enough to take down. But if you're a Siri, you can just go through it no problem. You have no need to even worry about that kind of thing. And that's the fun part. Alright, so now we are going to the end of the stealth story, where the mission's objective is to find and locate a soldier from the Commonwealth that has protected and has been giving information out to the rebellion forces in order to help them infiltrate the Commonwealth main base capital tower. His name is Dr. Geo Mandrake, and this is our figure that I alluded to earlier that would supposedly later appear as a important figure in Contra Hardcore for Genesis. So whether or not this is that same man, I'll let you be the judge, but as compared to Bahamut, where I think he's not the same Bahamut from that game, I do think Dr. Geo Mandrake is very much the same Geo Mandrake that appears later on. So this mini boss has a giant eye in the center. Kind of a classic sort of theme when it comes to Contra bosses or video game bosses. I mean, if anyone has played Contra 3: The Alien Wars for Super Nintendo, you might know that infamously difficult final boss, the brain unit of Demon Emperor Gava, or Emperor Demon Gava, whichever the case. Which, unfortunately, we will not be seeing in this particular game because it's just not that kind of game. But if you're curious about a certain other type of recurring Contra element that tends to show up within those video games, well, let me tell you, folks, stay tuned. You'll be seeing it pretty soon. For now, though, Aaron's going through the containment room with all these different glass containers, excuse me, what am I saying? Then, yeah, you You can destroy those, but it will release some enemies, which can make it a bit problematic. But because Aaron can't quite see, he has no choice but to let that progress and just find his way around the room, which does manage to work out. Now, Dr. Geomandrake here, this is an escort mission, and the escort himself does have a health bar, which, if it goes fully down, the game will dock a life from you before he gets back up. The good news is that it won't force you back into a checkpoint display. Now, to point out, this game does have English voice acting. I do believe the idea is that it is completely voiced in English. There's no Japanese going on. But I also think, or I'm pretty sure it's confirmed, that the voice actors in question are folks that do happen to do English acting, and yet they live in Japan, which is not new to certain video games. You might have seen this before for stuff like Castlevania Symphony of the Night, for example. But yeah, shout outs to them all the same. Sometimes the voice direction of this game can sound pretty easy, which I'm not really sure if that was made to be intentional, but in some cases it can be memorable for all the right and wrong reasons. So enjoy the doctor saying, "This is awful." Ooh, and unfortunately, it looks like he will be going down in order to get back up. But, like I said, Aaron's progress is not hindered by this. What is going to be hindered is him trying to follow you up the stairs, so you want to make sure that you are going upstairs as soon as possible. Because he will only follow you when that happens. Otherwise, he will follow you behind the stairs until then. And ooh, okay, so it looks like Aaron dropped down. I actually didn't know that you could do that until now. Funny how that worked. So yeah, it's like a bit of a situation where he's going to have to make sure that we can fully reset ourselves. And I think he's going to be aware that he's not quite going up a staircase just yet. So very soon we should be able to see him reset proper and keep things going. You are noticing that Theory cannot walk up the wall, however. You cannot wall cling either. The game requires you to go up the stairs in this case. A very rare instance, but yeah. Not really much else to say at this point, so that'll be that. Now then, we're just gonna. I think we're gonna give him a moment to focus on making sure everything's all together. And now I'm gonna give my voice just a brief pause, but we'll be back with you shortly. So for now, enjoy the rockin' tunes that this game has. Let me tell you, it is a wonderful soundtrack.
Don't leave me! Slow down! You're too fast!
All right, looks like we're just about to clear the Dr. Geomandrake section. He has reached the top floor, and now we are going to get to the helicopter. Yes, he has fully realized it too. Let's go, dude. You got this.
Thank you!
So now that we part ways with Geo, we're going to go into the main boss of this game.
Warning.
By the way, that right there is Sayori's extra attack that Aaron was just pulling off. Normally, when you can switch between your weapons in Hardcore Uprising, by pressing that button for her, she does that little close range attack too. Might not be seeing a whole lot of otherwise, but it's good for setting up his position with this boss, the Celestial Imperator, because the first phase of it goes with him having to take out those gun arms. And then the main boss itself will show up. So far, looking really good, but now we just have to get the other arm, and there you have it. So now the main body itself will be joining the fray. Aaron is going to remain within the middle here and constantly do these double jumps while spamming the slash to keep a set of consistent damage going and ensure that we will have our fight ended as soon as we can. And as I mentioned earlier, this boss represents one side of Contra that they can never seem to get rid of, that being the threat of an alien-like foe. And this thing is very much that represented here, more or less. So we've now kicked the baby. Kick the baby! Don't kick the baby. Kick the baby. Just a little running in joke that we started doing here. If you know, you know. And speaking of if you know your references, let's dial it all the way back to the YouTube here in the early 2010s to a little known channel called Comsta. Because, folks, if there's anything you gotta know about me, I like trains. So, welcome to the Capital Railway, the Underground Railway system. This is our second and final dedicated auto-scroller level. And here, the gimmick of the stage involves this train that Aaron will be on for the most part. How it works is the train bodies themselves have health bars, and once those are completely exhausted, they will start to glow red and then enter a state of pre-explosion. And once they blow up, another train car will replace it. Now, one thing he's got to be very careful, though, is that those tracks on the ground are instant kill. So, if he's not too considerate of his placement, he could potentially game over. So far, though, he's still got 12 lives, 13 if you count having 0 lives. And when we started off this run, he did have a total of 30. Unfortunate that he was not able to get that one up, but had it just remained there a little bit longer, nevertheless, it's all good. Yeah, we started this run with 30 lives, which is the most you can get yourself for Rising mode, and is also a tongue-in-cheek nod to the Contra Konami code. So, just a little callback to the first game, if you will. And now that we've got ourselves 2 trains for double the fun, the stage will want you to vary it up a bit by going from train car to train car, because sometimes one of them might be reaching the end of the track, and that'll be the case for the bottom one pretty soon. So, now luckily, unlike the Capital Highway, the stage does not require you to take care of most enemies, because this level has a finite stage build in mind, a finite craft, if you will, for lack of a better term, because I guess you could say at length in this, yeah. And so what that means is that eventually certain parts of the track will reach its natural end of the line, and yeah, just like that right there, the top set of the train now crashes down into the bottom set. So you want to be on the front car if you hope to survive, of course. This stage is known as compared to the Capital Highway, where they do want you to take out certain enemies, because even with the mid-boss that's going to be coming up pretty soon, at least the first one anyway, that will eventually finish itself off, because if you take too long to take out the cannons yourself, which is the main weak point for this train, then eventually it will fall off the track. And yes, a train with cannons, that was indeed canon to this cannon. I'll see myself out. But yeah, we're still going through the level, and as it stands, Aaron will be now passing that natural end point of the track that would have caused the mid-boss to eventually explode. But we're not quite done just yet. We're going to have our second mini-boss showing up pretty soon. So far, it's going to start off with I guess you'd say a weapons cart that starts from the bottom, but then transforms into Getter 3 or something like that. If you're a fan of Getter Robo and know which designation the Getter Black had, feel free to correct me in the chat or comments or whatever the heck. But yeah, that was the boss. And casually, it can be a bit of a pain in the butt. I would know from my first time having played this game as Bahamut. But yeah, once you have the right upgrades, it's easy. It's a piece of cake, which is something that Bahamut himself says when you perform certain actions. Speaking of things that Bahamut would say, this boss is the Arachnian. Folks, what is one common phobia that we as people might happen to have? The answer is not public speaking or height, but rather spiders.
Strange.
It's strange indeed, Theory.
I'm not feeling
The fun fact about the co-op of this game is that it does have both characters saying their unique lines one after the other. So I suppose that if player 1 is Theory and player 2 is Bahamut, the order would probably go strange, and then I hate spiders. Which Bahamut does say twice. The first time being in the jungle level. So there you have it. I got a fun fact for you all about the voice cast, by the way. So Sayuri's voice is credited as, I believe, Mayumi, who also is the announcer for this game. Pretty cool, right? But just as cool is the fact that we've now taken care of the Arachne, and we are now going to be moving into stage 7, the tower. So we are almost done with the game. There are 8 levels in total for Hardcore Uprising, and Rising mode does give you the extra benefit of being able to choose which level you would like to jump into. So you can always turn off the console and get right back into the progress you had going earlier. Now, if you were to play arcade mode, that would not be the case, and it would be a bit more of a challenge that most Contra fans would be aware of, because you would only have certain skills at your disposal, and you would not be able to unlock other ones as compared to what Rising mode allows for. So, there you have it. And now we have infiltrated the Commonwealth main hideout. We are now going in full-on, locked and loaded, to try and encounter Tiberius himself. And you're going to be seeing them attempting to throw everything in the kitchen sink at you, including an elevator sequence with an added element of danger very, very shortly. I'm just going to let this speak for itself while I take a moment to pause. Enjoy what you're about to see coming right now. Alright, I'm back. I managed to get myself a drink, and I feel like something's on my plate again. Is this cool? Oh. Shout out to Rooster Fighter. Ugh. Alright, so now that we've gotten off the elevators of doom, we're now going to be heading outside of the tower and into a nice little trick or speedrun optimization that was found either by our good pals Slurpee Ninja or the Phantomire, aka Chitty Chitty Fang Fang, where Aaron right there took an intentional death from a certain point of the tower, which would have skipped the helicopter fight. Unfortunately, it seems that we're going to have to be taking care of the second one, but that's okay. He did manage to go off the first one, which is all well and good. So yeah, now that we have gotten through that, we're going to get back inside the tower and start our second of the elevator sections. And once again, they're going to start blasting them with missiles. Oh no, this is another missile. Well, whatever will we do? So now we're going to be going into the very interesting portion of this stage, which involves vertically riding the missiles all the way up. This is another homage to Contra 3, the Alien Wars, that this game has a few of in general. But instead of riding those missiles from left to right, instead it's from down to up. And it is one of the coolest things I have ever experienced in playing a video game, I dare do say. Nicely done, Aaron. So we have managed to get past that without losing our remaining 3 lives. And we are getting ever closer to the main boss of this year level. And the good news is that if Aaron does have to possibly continue, this game does have designated checkpoints within the stage. So what should happen is we will now
Did you show up just to be killed?
be able to respawn before the boss, presumably. So there's Tiberius.
It's showtime.
And now we're going to have our final showdown with Leviathan, in which Sayuri vows to now take him out once and for all. Now, Aaron did take an intentional death right there in order to ensure that we will be nice and set for what's to come. And yes, you saw that right. He had 573 continues, something which you can build up. It is wonderful. So, we now start phase 1 of our Leviathan fight. Mostly going to play out as a chase sequence, because while he does have a health bar, it's mostly just going to revolve around the idea of forcing him to shoot across this entire burning staircase. And if he does get too far ahead, he will try to slide charge at you. But really, this whole fight is quite manageable from start to finish. So there's not really too much danger involved, aside from maybe a few tricks and traps that he tries to activate at certain points of the level. So I won't necessarily spoil what they are for you just yet, but yeah, there we go. One that happened right there was the collapsing floor. Now we have a platforming section that would take place across a series of umbrella-toting Commonwealth soldiers. Where they're even going from top to bottom, I have no idea, but we'll assume they're okay because those things first seem to act like parachutes at the very least. Ooh, a human shield, eh? Unfortunately for you, Leviathan, that's not going to do you any good, but it makes you still a rotten human being for it all the same. Your victory for later. Dude, you're being clowned on, man. There is no hope for your redemption at all. Alright, one last bout with Leviathan in the form of this Knight Lunata mech he's going to be piloting right here. Now, interestingly enough, it's not like he has voice lines while you fight him, so it could be assumed that maybe he's actually having this thing piloted remotely as a drone, and that he doesn't die right now. But we like to assume so because, technically speaking, you can play as him in the game. He is one of the DLC characters alongside Harley and Sayuri. The game does have the 2 default characters as Bahamut and Crystal, but Harley, Sayuri, and Leviathan are accessible once you purchase their DLC kit at a very cheap price.
Time to say goodbye.
I won't let you escape.
Thank you, Tiberius.
Warning.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, yeah. So you have 2 default gunner characters, and then you can purchase the rest for a very affordable price. That's all I was really going to lead up to. So this is called Cerberus, and it's certainly not a good boy. So we have to take this ugly mutt down, if you even want to call it a dog, which I personally don't. Luckily, with Sayuri's hot knife with 1,000-degree temperature, it slices through more than just butter, but also steel. Alright, folks, we have completed Mission 7. Now, on the subject of dogs, I do want to give a quick little shout out to my family's late Labradoodle, Sammy, one of the truest warriors one could ever know. He is the best boy that I could ever have the pleasure of having had, and I'm making this one little shout out in honor of him, because Aaron and I have actually been in discussion ever since we made the right decision for our boyo. So yeah. All the same, shout out to you, Sammy. We miss you and love you. Alright, so with that being said, we have now entered stage 8, and the final stretch is upon us. We start things off with one final partial auto-scroller on the bike that we saw in stage 1. And we've got a battleship that tries to out with missiles. Apparently you can parry those and take it out in the background if you are able to pull it off. And shoutouts to Biker Mice from Mars, which is a nod to our runner friend, the only Joey, something that he did back in the day when he was doing co-op with his friend Lucy. So yeah, shoutouts to the both of you, and thank you for that fun little homage to a title of something that most people might not know about to this day. But if you know, then you know. Feel free to recognize it if you do. All right, so as we are going through the deck of this entire ship, now we have a pressure layer up above that tries to press in on us. And if it does manage to kill us this way, the level will not continue to depress you until there is clear ground to move things forward. So, all is going pretty well so far. Aaron is taking advantage of the instant kill electric field to reset his positioning. But aside from that, this is looking very smooth as can be. As we are going through this here platforming section, I will take a moment to acknowledge the different types of weapons that you could be seeing in the game if you are playing as a gunner character. The first of which is the super machine gun, which is your standard rapid fire type of weapon. Then we've got the spread gun, which is a Contra staple. The spread shot is a multi-directional gun that, though it is weaker in damage, it is still very good for coverage in this game. You've got the ripple gun, which isn't often used in speedruns, only really as a backup, but it has the nice property of doing not just repeated damage, but also forcing enemy projectiles back. And I do mean all sorts of projectiles and objects back, like a propulsion gun. There's the crash shot, which is also a returning Contra weapon. It is a low-distance lobbing missile bomb shot. And then there's the plane laser, which is a homing laser shot, and is also a bit of a returning Contra gun type as well. And yeah, that's about it. Aside from that, you have Series Blade. Oh, right, Heated Plasma. I almost forgot about Heated Plasma. Yeah, so Heated Plasma is a charge shotgun and deals some gnarly damage, especially with head charge shot. And if you have rapid fire going on for you as a personalizing mode.
It's not over.
Alright, so now we are entering phase 2 of the Vitus engine fight. We have gone through a bunch of orbs, and now we're going through some pillars in order to coax out the main orb itself. So with that all established, you're also noticing that this entire battlefield is a rotating 3D stage, and those dotted lines are a really, really handy cue for you to know what exactly counts as the edge of the battlefield. So, of course, not being able to see doesn't really help much in that prospect, but Aaron's still got 17 or technically 18 lives to go, so things will be more or less okay, I'd wager. Now we move to the Vitus engine itself, which tries to ram you like a bowling ball. It's going to go from side to side, but we're going to still deal repeated damage to it until it is finally done-so. And with that, we have entered the final gauntlet. So we're going to be moving into our final series of 3 bosses remaining in the level. We are almost done with the run, folks. As we are going through this entire section, this would be your final opportunity to pick up some gunner weapons if you happen to have lost them along the way.
You again. So, you want to be dead?
Here we have it. This is the main man himself, Tiberius.
I'm going to enjoy this battle.
Now we're going to face him down. You finished warming up, but unfortunately, it's not good.
Let's begin the final battle.
All right. It seems he's been waiting for this for a long time. A worthy challenger to take him on in his mutant form here, Tiberius Augustus. Now Aaron is going to constantly shred through his health until he is finally going to submit. And this boss will have a intended point of health left that will forbid. Oops. Oh, excuse me there. My allergies acting up there again for a moment. Yeah, so it goes. Tiberius Augustus does go into a quick stun animation before you are able to finish off. Now we are moving into the third and final battle of Hardcore Uprising. Because, of course, a tenacious main foe is never done just yet. So we're going to be going from Tiberius Augustus to Tiberius Invictus. And if you're playing as a gunner character, at this point in the stage, you would have the benefit of seeing this entire field being littered with scrap metal as you're platforming, which does make it a platforming challenge in itself, but with the helicopter bodies that fall down, those each contain a different type of gun power. So the game is handing those things out for you willy-nilly at that point. So yeah, here we are with the final boss battle. And as we are going through here, we finish off the last of Tiberius Invictus's health. And folks, time will be coming up very shortly once Aaron grabs a hold of the helicopter one last time. The game will not allow him to skirt by with taking a death. It wants you to actually get on the helicopter yourself. So as compared to stages 1 and 3, this is absolutely mandatory. And if you lose all of your lives, it will be game over, forcing you back into the section before the, or rather after the Vitus engine. Oh, almost there, man. You got this. Come on. Let's get it. Ooh, so close! Come on. No. There we go. Time. GG. Let's go. Nicely done, dude. What a wonderful way to wrap it up. Let's go. And 49 minutes flat for the final in-game time.
A true warrior.
True warrior indeed. Holy moly.
Still sub 50. Still sub 50. So
Still
that's
sub 50. Let's go, man. That was good stuff.
that lab, man.
That
and then
lab.
Leviathan.
But you pulled through, and that's what counts. Nicely done, Aaron.
Oh, yeah.
So before we wrap this segment up, just a couple of things. First and foremost, this is going to be Aaron's self-imposed final major marathon run with this game. He's going to be taking a step back from the event grind and the PB grind. He'll still supposedly be around if
I'll be around
any-
because I'll still race you and Milo. So
yeah, absolutely.
because you need to take the next step.
Oh, of course. I hear you loud and clear on that one, homie. But yeah, aside from that, GG's, man. 4.5 years of pumping out solid times for this game. I am very happy for you.
I'm happy that I got my copter skip on the first shot.
Yeah, let's go. All right. So, folks, if you would like to learn Hardcore Uprising yourself, the Contra Speedrunning Discord community would love to have you. Just go to any of our leaderboards and you can find our Discord link there. The community is absolutely wonderful and are always welcoming to new blood. Of course, if you'd like to follow me, my name is TempestMask1000 here on Twitch and YouTube. I also have a few social medias that you can check out for other updates and whatnot. And then be sure to follow Anti-Aaron here if you'd like to see whatever he's up to next on Twitch. And then some. We thank you for having us shine in the dark. Aaron, any final words yourself?
I will always run for anyone who wants to see this run. I will also help people who want to learn this game. I'll even co-op with you online. It don't matter your console or if you're doing a emulator. I will help you get as far as you can in this game. Because to me, this game is more, is everything. This is the Contra game that you want to speedrun. This is the Mafia Ninja Gaiden game that you want to speedrun. This game can even be blindfolded. So it's everything all in one.
Yeah, and GG's again, Aaron, and thank you very much also, Tempest, for that really, really good commentary of yours.
Thank you.
You might have noticed or not yet, so just below, over there. So the next round will not be Babzia's Nier Automata run, because we are behind schedule and we need to go on. So it will be the Pokemon race of Pearl Diamond, with between Serpin and Livy. So stay tuned, and we're gonna come back in a few minutes.
Ciao,
Bye-bye.
amici.
Ciao, Meijis.